Alhamdulillahilladzi abda'a al-aflaka wal-ardin wassalatu wassalamu ala man kana nabiyyan wa adamu bayna al-ma'i wat-tin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Amma ba'du, fa'a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa'tasimu bihablillahi jami'an wa la tafarraqu. Wadhkuru ni'matallahi 'alaykum idh kuntum a'da'an fa'alafa bayna qulubikum fa'asbahtum بنعمته إخوانا. آمنت بالله صدق الله مولانا العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك لمن الشاكرين والشاهدين والحمد لله رب العالمين. ببركته الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا ونبينا وشفينا ومولانا محمد عبدك ورسولك ونبيك. Allahu Akbar. फिर दोबारा दुरूशी पर अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला सय्यिदिना व नबिय्यिना व शफीयिना व मौलाना मुहम्मदिन अब्दिका व रसूलिका व नबिय्यिका व सल्ली अलल मुमिनीना वल मुमिनात वल मुस्लिमीना वल मुस्लिमात. Each and every one of you joining us. Salatu wassalamu alayka ya sayyidi ya Rasulallah wa ala alika wa ashabika ya sayyidi ya Habiballah. Salatu wassalamu alayka ya sayyidi ya Rasulallah wa ala alika wa ashabika ya sayyidi ya rahmatan lil alamin. One more time, please, zaban khamosh na rahe. Salatu wassalamu alayka ya sayyidi ya Rasulallah وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا خاتم النبيين. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم رسولا ونبيا. الله رب محمد صلى عليه وسلم نحن عباد محمد صلى عليه وسلم. उस गली का गदा हूँ मैं जिसमें मांगते ताजदार फिरते हैं, जो तेरे दर से यार फिरते हैं, दर बदर यूं ख्वार फिरते हैं. और उन्हें जाना उन्हें माना, न रखा गैर से काम. लिल्लाहिल हम्द में दुनिया से मुसलमान गया. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. After praising Allah Almighty Jalla wa Ala, Malik-e Kainat, Khalik-e Kull, Rabbus Samawati wal Ard, and sending infinite peace and salutations, durood and salawat upon the best of creation, the light of humanity, the purpose of our existence, Sayyidul Awwaleen wal Akhirin, Imamul Anbiya wal Mursaleen, Huzur Jane Jana, Tajdar Madina, Noor Sina, Lajpa Nabi, Kareem Rasul, Khatamun Nabiyyin, Rahmatan lil Alameen, Shafi'ul Muznibin, वजह तख्लीक कायनात. वो जो न थे तो कुछ न था, वो जो ना हो तो कुछ ना हो, जान है वो जहान की, जान है तो जहान है। आमीना कलाल रसूल अकरम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि व आलिहि वसल्लम, most honorable and respectable warithin of the Anbiya, ulama haqqa, the crowns upon our heads, bil khusus zinat mahfil, shafiq millat, Hazrat Qibla Mufti Shafiqur Rahman Sahib, दामत बरकातुम आलिया वल कुद्सिया, और इसी तरीके से इमाम और खतीब मस्जिद हादा मुहतरमुल मकाम इज्जत मआब हजरत अल्लामा हाफिज साजिद बरकात साहिब, दामत बरकातुम आलिया वल कुद्सिया, honorable and respectable elders, brothers and sisters, lovable youngsters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Man lam yashkurin nasa lam yashkurillah. A juz of the Kul, a riwayat mentioned in the Musnad of Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, Ravi Sayyiduna Nu'man ibn Bashir radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, Sahabi Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that one day Do Jahan ke Wali Rahmatan lil Alameen was sat upon Mimbar Rasul addressing the Azim Jama'at of the Sahaba, and a small part of the lengthy narration, he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that that individual who is not grateful to the people will never be able to truly express gratitude to the Creator. With these prophetic words of the best of creation at the forefront of my mind, I want to take this opportunity to express my gratitude and heartfelt thanks to the Aimma Hazrat of this Markazi Jami Masjid Faridul Islam, the aforementioned Hazrat Allama Hafiz Sajid Barkati Sahib, or Hazrat Allama Hafiz Rafiq Sahib Qibla, the Intizamiya of this Masjid, the Awam or Muqtadis of this Masjid, or Bil Khusus Muhtaram Shaheed Basharat Sahib, for arranging and facilitating and organizing this particular Milad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mahfil wa majlis. I make sincere dua that Allah Almighty Jalla wa Ala accept this mahfil wa majlis in His barakah. And that may Allah Almighty make this gathering and gatherings such as this a means of our bakhshish and najat on the day of Qiyamah. Maulana Room Rahmatullahi Ta'ala alayhi in the Mathnavi Sharif have a very beautiful shi'r. They said, Zindagi Ahmad Baraye Bandagi. Zindagi Ahmad Baraye Bandagi. Zindagi Be Bandagi Sharmindagi. Ye Farsi hai na? Ulama Karam will have some understanding of what I've just said in the Persian language. But Amatul Nas, of course, are still trying to decide which language suits them. Some prefer Dutch, others prefer English, some say stick to Urdu. Lekin I've started with Farsi, just to make things nice and easy. Maulana Rum said what? Batore Tamheed, that individual who has devotion, dedication and loyalty to Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that person no doubt has attained the maqam of bandagi. Bandagi means what? Servitude. Abdiyya. So what allows you and me to attain servitude? Meaning what? What makes you and me a human is our loyalty and devotion to Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then they go on to say that individual, zindagi de bandagi sharmindagi, that individual who does not attain servitude, that person who does not attain this maqam of abdiyya. And how do you attain this maqam again? How do you reach this station? Through only one way and through only one means, and that is through devotion to Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They say the one who doesn't attain servitude to Allah and His Rasul, that person is no doubt zaleel, has become unsuccessful and is destroyed in this dunya, and no doubt that person is destroyed in the akhirah as well. So from the outset, words for us to reflect upon here. Buzzwords are what? Servitude. How do we attain servitude? How do we become an abd of Allah Almighty Jalla wa Ala? Devotion, dedication and loyalty to Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Kalendar Lahori Musawwir Pakistan Darwesh Sialkoti. Hazrat Allama Iqbal Rahmatullahi Ta'ala alayhi, in their own andaz give understanding similar to what Maulana Rum mentions here. They say ki Muhammad se wafa tune to hum tere hain. Ki Muhammad se wafa tune to hum tere hain. ये जहां चीज है क्या लौह कलम दे रहे हैं. So wafadari, loyalty and dedication and devotion to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is why Imam Rabbani Mujaddid al-Faizani, the reviver of the second millennium, Sahib al-Maktubat Sharif, they mentioned that there is only one way, one zariya, one means of reaching the court of Allah Almighty Jalla wa Ala, and that zariya, that means is not other than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That the key to our success lies with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is our gateway to Allah Almighty Jalla wa Ala. He is our means to attaining rahmatan, bakhshishan, maghfirat from Allah Almighty Jalla wa Ala. ईमान मिला उनके सदके, ईमान मिला उनके सदके. बेशक मैं कल लाई लग गया वहाँ. आपने कहा ना उनके सदके. I'm warming up now, yes, because before this हमारे मुहतरम मीर मुख्तार मीर साहब और इफ्तिखार साहब उन्हें ऐसा खाना खा लिया था बस जो समझा जाए डाइजेस्ट ही नहीं हो रही है. So this is my warm up act. This isn't my mawzu yet. I don't know how long I have, but I'm assuming until Huzur Mufakkir Islam Hazrat Allama Qamar-Uzman Azmi Sahib Qibla Maddazillahul Ali arrive, I assume that is where I stop. So until they arrive, work with me. आपने कहना उनके सदके ईमान मिला, हमने मजबूर नहीं करना. I'm not going to force you. If this is what is in your heart, then no doubt you will say it on your tongue as well. Iman mila unke sadke, Iman mila unke sadke, Islam mila unke sadke, Quran mila unke sadke, Khud Rahman mila unke sadke. और क्या है जो हमें पाया नहीं? What is it that the Prophet ﷺ hasn't given to you and me? And no doubt what he has given to you and me started with the amad and arrival of Rasul Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam into this dunya. इसमें कोई शक नहीं। But all of the barakat and khairat and the Faizan within kainat, from before takhliq Adam alayhi salam, we have because of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Mata wajabat lakan nubuwah. Jami wa Tirmizi Sharif ki riwayat, Sayyiduna Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu is rawi. Sahaba ikram asked, Ya Rasulullah, Ya Habiballah, tell us, when was prophethood declared upon you? When were you a prophet of Allah Almighty Jalla wa Ala? Jawab mein sabat hai, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Kuntu Nabiyyan wa Adamu bayna ruhi wal jasad. That I was a prophet of Allah when Adam alayhi salam was between spirit and body, between ruh and jasad. No doubt we've been receiving the mercies and bounties and blessings and favors of Allah Almighty Jalla wa Ala through the Faizan and Barakat and Khairat of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam from the beginning. But khas tor, our deen, our madhab, our iman, Quran, salah, zakat, hajj, all of these blessings that we have came to you and me khas tor when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam arrived into this dunya. After his wiladat ba sa'adat, no doubt. After his wiladat ba sa'adat, no doubt. So where today opponents and adversaries of the Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah will have gatherings of Jashne Nuzul Quran, though the wahi of the Quran was after wiladat ba sa'adat is first and foremost. Where opponents and adversaries of the Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah will have Seerat conference, will have workshops on how to pray your salah, what the rulings of fasting in Ramadan is, what the rulings of zakat and sadaqat and khairat and lillah is. But these things came after. Wiladat ba sa'adat came first. And where today opponents and adversaries of the Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah will hold gatherings and conferences in relation to the greatness of the Sahaba and the excellence of the Ahlul Bayt Athhar. Understand and know Sahaba and Ahlul Bayt Athhar came after. Wiladat ba sa'adat came first and foremost. Am I making sense here? Because they've said to me, move away from the microphone, Imam Sahib, before you go back to the UK, most of the eardrums will pop. Sorry. So what we have no doubt is through the blessings and barakat of Rasulullah and Sayyidi Ala Hazrat Imam Ahl Sunnat Mujaddid Deen wa Millat Parwana Ishq wa Mahabbat. Imam Ahmad Riza Khan Ali ki Rahmat wa Ridwan very beautifully summarized this. You know this shi'r. कौन देता है देने को मुँह चाहिए, देने वाला है सच्चा हमारा नबी. मजा है यार. आप your मेहमान have rights as well. सीना खोली तहरीफ. This is your iman and aqeeda. देने वाला है सच्चा हमारा नबी, देने वाला है सच्चा हमारा नबी. Everything else came after. Wiladat ba sa'adat of Rasul Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam came first and foremost. Willing to accept and acknowledge, answering the objections of the adversaries and opponents. Where is it mentioned and written? Answering the objections from a very simple perspective, without even opening any books of Ahadith Mubarakah or going through the verses of the Quran, or what our ulama haqqa, ulama Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah have said and written in the three main sources, Quran, Sunnah, Ijma, just from a very simple perspective. Logic. Yeah, everything else came after. You accept and acknowledge all of them things. You will commemorate them, you will celebrate them, you will have gatherings acknowledging these bounties and favors of Allah. But understand those things came after. Wiladat ba Sa'adat came first and if somebody says, oh, okay, ये तो जज्बात के जुमले हैं, आपका लॉजिक और आपकी मंतिक है, कुरान से साबित करो. And I mentioned this verse 2 days ago, and I'll mention it again, Surah Al-Hijr, verse number 72. Allah Almighty Jalla wa'ala says, لَعَمْرُكَ إِنَّهُمْ لَفِي سَقْرَتِهِمْ يَعْمَهُونَ. And those of you who were here 2 days ago, those of you who were with us last night as well, all of this is joined together, same theme, same discussion. Allah Almighty takes an oath, picks a qasam in the Quran by the entire life of Rasulullah. Life doesn't begin at the age of 40. Like some people say, oh gee, we accept, no doubt you received the first revelation. Some people go one step further and say, Ma'adallah, astaghfirullah, that prior to the first revelation, astaghfirullah, Nabi Islam was gumrah and misguided. It's not our either. I'm not going to go down that discussion. But ishara, understand and know, life doesn't begin from the age of 40. Life begins from Wiladat ba Sa'adat. Life begins from the blessed birth of the chosen one. And Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma, who no doubt is the leader of the Mufassirin amongst the Sahaba, Imam al-Mufassirin of the Ummah. They said that Allah Almighty does not take an oath, does not pick a qasam by any other individual in the Quran except for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Naat takbir! Naat risala! Just praise Milad Nabi!
So la'amruka, lam, harful qasam, that by your entire life, by your knowledge is attained by way of repetition. If we ask you to repeat, it's not because I like your Dutch accent. It's because I want you to keep these points in your mind, and more importantly, keep these points in your heart. Surah number 15, verse number 72. Allah Almighty takes an oath by the entire life of the Prophet ﷺ. To conclude this introduction, life begins from Wiladat ba Sa'adat, from the blessed birth of the chosen one. So if somebody said, where is Nabi Islam's birth mentioned in the Quran? Well, no doubt here it is mentioned in Surah Al-Hijr, verse 72. Allah Almighty takes an oath by his entire life in the Quran. अच्छा, ये जो लफ्ज़ है मौलिदुन, उलमा इकराम की मौजूदगी में समझो ये असबाब सुना रहे हैं ना. If you are wrong, they'll do my drift here and now. मौलिदुन अरबी लफ्ज़ है on the scale of मफ़इलुन, और मफ़इलुन क्या है? इस्मु ज़र्फ़. दूसरा नुक्ता. First one was Surah Al-Hijr, verse number 72. Those who say, oh, where's the birth of the Prophet ﷺ mentioned in the Quran? In light of what Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas has said and written, we mentioned that no doubt Allah Almighty takes an oath by his entire life in the Quran. And life starts from birth. Life doesn't start from the age of 40. Everything else came after. Wiladat ba Sa'adat came first and foremost. Dusra nukta. Al-Kitha likhya. Mawlidun. As apni zaban mein kehte hain Milad Sharif. How do you say it in Dutch? Whatever he just said. I've only been here 3 days. If you expect me to start speaking Dutch in 3 days, then you have very high expectations. Mawlidun, ismu zarf, Hazrat Wala Qibla Iman, tawajjuh se saath. Ismu zarf kya hai? Ismu zamani wal makan. It is the noun. And dekho na, ye pehla sabak hai na, ilmu sarf mein. Kalima kya hai? Ismun, fi'lun, harfun, and ism, noun. You say English, you can noun, verb or particle. Noun has many types. 7 types in total. One of the 7 types of a ism, a noun, is ismu zarf, and the noun of place and time. So this word in Arabic, mawlid, mawlidun Nabi, the birth of the Prophet ﷺ, just from his grammatical perspective, ilmu sarf ki roshni mein, ye ismu zarf hai, ismu zamani wal makan. Acha, then if somebody says, where is the mawlid mentioned in the Quran? then no doubt we'll say that the place of his birth is mentioned in the Quran and the time of his birth is mentioned as well. Place is what? Beginning of Surah Al-Balad. Allah Almighty says, وَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِهَذَا الْبَلَدِ وَأَنْتَ حِلٌّ بِهَذَا الْبَلَدِ وَوَالِدٍ وَمَا नहीं मजा है ठंडे लोग यार ववालिदी वमा वलद Allah Almighty takes an oath मामूली चीज नहीं ना Allah is taking an oath Allah Almighty takes a qasam he takes an oath he picks a qasam by the city of Makkah al-Mukarramah he doesn't take an oath by the city of Makkah because of the Kaaba al-Sharifa even though he could have he doesn't take an oath by the city of Makkah because of Al-Hajr al-Aswad, again he could have. He doesn't take an oath by the city of Makkah because of Safa and Marwa. He could have. Safa and Marwa mentioned in the Quran. Inna Safa wal Marwata min sha'airillah. That's not the reason why he takes an oath by the city of Makkah, Shahr Makkah. He doesn't take an oath by the city of Makkah because of Mina, Arafat, Muzdalifah. He doesn't take an oath of the city of Makkah because of the tens of thousands of Anbiya who are resting there. Allah only takes an oath by the city of Makkah for one reason and one reason only. And that is because it's the city of the birth of Rasulullah. बस ये ना गाल सारी सरकार दी है गाल सारी ठंडे लोग यार गाल सारी सीना थोड़ी तो गाल सारी सरकार ना हार दी है ना पार दी है गाल सारी सरकार गाल सारी मक्का al-Mukarramah has its Sharif and has its Mansab. It is Musharraf and Muqaddas for only one reason, because it's the city of the birth of Rasulullah. ये हो जाए इस्मुल मकान आता जब फिर कोई आया इस्मुल ज़मान बयान करो. Even though सूरतुल हिजर की आयत is sufficient, लेकिन we mention another verse और तफसीर की रोशनी में वल असर इन्नल इंसान लफी by the time man is in loss. इंसान खसारे में है. क्या है? अच्छा, इमाम फखरुद्दीन राजी उलमा की मौजूदगी में so far so good alhamdulillah. Mufti Sahib Qibla have been the perfect host. Thursday night with them, yesterday with them, and today hat-trick. Those of you who watch football, hat-trick. I'm hat-trick hero today. I don't know if I will be taking the ball home. But hat-trick hero, ulama की ज़ियारत करना ये इबादत है. An-nazru ila wajhi al-alim min al-ibadah. Alfaz mentioned the riwayat recorded in the Al-Malfuzat of Imam Ahl-Sunnah Sayyid Ala Hazrat. An-nazru ila wajhi al-alim min al-ibadah. That to look at the face of a scholar, this is worship. लेकिन इस शर्त के साथ that scholar is of the Ahl-Sunnati wal Jamaat. Not those scholars baji bane banaye mein, self-made, self-promotion. Social media ka daur hai na, they have their marketing teams. Let's push these people forward. No. And looking at the face of that scholar, who no doubt took his knowledge and ilm from his teacher, who took it from his teacher, who took it from his ustad, all the way back to the Sahaba Ikram, who took it from the best of teachers, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. उस आलिम का चेहरा देखना इबादत है. Allah Akbar. उलमा की कदर करो. I said this yesterday in Masjid Taiba. Juma al-barakatu ma'a kabirikum. Huzur के अल्फाज नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम से blessings lie with your elders. Blessings lie with your elders. Allah Akbar. हजरत के साथ खास तौर ये मोहब्बत इस वजह तू इनकी अपनी शख्सियत है, अपनी ज़ात है, लेकिन दे निस्बतन ताल्लुक खास तौर इस विद कायदे मिल्लत इस्लामिया, कायदे अहले सुन्नत मौलाना शाह मंजूरानी सिद्दीकी. अल्लाह. लेकिन as I was saying, ये इस्मुल मकान और इस्मुल ज़मान वल अस्र इन्नल इंसान लफी खुसर. Again, वाव हर्फुल कसम. By the time Allah Almighty takes qasam by time. लिखने वाले कौन? इमाम फखरुद्दीन राजी. इतना बड़ा नाम, इतना टिल्ला, सुभान अल्लाह. इमाम फखरुद्दीन राजी. अब तफसीर कबीर में they mention what? They write under this ayat of Surah Al-Asr that Allah Almighty takes an oath, takes a qasam by time. Which zamana is Allah Almighty taking qasam by? Imam Razi write, Allah Almighty takes qasam by the door and the zamana of Rasulullah. Nadano doesn't begin from the age of 40. No, it begins from Wiladat-e-Ba Sa'adat. And but I've already mentioned this, I'll say it again. Even before Wiladat-e-Ba Sa'adat. Subhanallah. The reason for Adam al-Islam's Tawbah being accepted, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The reason for Nuh al-Islam's ark remaining firm and steady, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The reason for Ibrahim al-Islam being saved from the fire, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The reason for Ismail al-Islam not being sacrificed, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The reason for the salvation of Yunus al-Islam from the stomach of the whale, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Subhanallah. Gal sari? Aja meri tamheed hai. Mufakkir Islam will come and I will stop. Allahu Akbar. This is the aqidah you should have. If somebody dare question, where is it written? Where is it mentioned? Mawlidun Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I've spent what? The last 15 minutes if you've been listening. First key point was what? Everything that we have is because of the barakat of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Unka sadqa hai, bas. And this is why I've said this for the last 2 days. I've also been here. My first trip to the Netherlands. And hopefully not my last. Ultimately, everything is for and everything is about Rasulullah. Simple English, not high level, huh? No PhD level. Everything is for and everything is about Zameen o Zaman, Makin o Makan, Tunin o Tuna, Baned o Jahan. Barkat koni, yaar ye tamheed hai meri. Asal mawzu is still there. And then she said what? Ismu Zarf, yani Makan or Zaman. Mawlid mentioned in the Quran. This is why if some chura, you understand chura? No? If some individual who baqaida, when you look at them, starting unfortunately, one of the signs of the friends of Allah Almighty is that when you look at their face, you remember Allah. So that means that when you look at somebody's face and you don't remember Allah, then they're not the friend of Allah, they're the friend of पहुंच भी ना so ऐसे लोग हैं ना टिकटॉक और सोशल मीडिया पर don't do this हमारे नौजवान परेशान अलामा साहब tell me हजरत tell me परेशान नहीं होना कोई वो एक हमारे मुफ्ती समर अब्बास साहब है ना पाकिस्तान वाले उनका एक क्लिप है ना टिकटॉक पर there's good as well take the good leave the bad they say what हाँ जी जिन्हें लोग पूछ रहे ना मिलाशी कितना लिखा और आने जी असली किस्मत विच लिखा ये हमारी मुकद्दर में है ये हमारी किस्मत में है that we are those who remember Rasulullah we are those who do dhikr Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam I mentioned this share last night with Mufti Sahib Qibla की मौजूदगी में यादेहू सरमाया ईमान बुवत हर गदा अज यादेहू सुल्तान मुहब again Maulana Rum said what that the remembrance of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam this is the essence of iman dhikr Mustafa ईमान की जान है dhikr Mustafa ईमान की जान है ईमान की पहचान है ईमान की रूह है असल ईमान इस dhikr Mustafa Asal Iman is dhikr Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This dhikr all of the Anbiya did with their people. All of the prophets, all of the Anbiya did with their people. Why Surah number 61, verse number 6, where, and you know this, Allah Almighty says what? Isa al-Islam told his people that there will come a prophet after me. وَمُبَشِّرًا بِرَسُولٍ يَأْتِي مِنْ بَعْدِ اسْمُهُ Ahmad. Isa alayhi salam told his people about the arrival of Ahmad. I'm Hanabi. You don't look very confident. अच्छा, वो असीरतुल हलबिया में एक बहुत प्यारा वाक़या है. असीरतुल हलबिया में, और आला हज़रत also mentioned this in the al-Malfuzat Sharif as well. तवज्जो से सुनो. अने जी क्या फायदा मिलता है? हाँ, सिर्फ एक वाक़या तो चौको. If you listen to this वाक़या, ये तो बाकी तो चलो ईमान के जुमले हैं ना, जज्बात के जुमले हैं ना. हाँ, but this वाक़या listen to very carefully. They mention that in the time of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, on Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, Kalimullah Musa alayhi salam, there was a person who disobeyed Allah Almighty for 70 years. Come on page. How many years? 70 years. 70 years. Acha, quick, long story short, when he died, the people disregarded him. Threw his body on the rubbish pile. The people rejected him, but the one who was rejected by the people was accepted by Allah Almighty. Masla ye hai that we become judge, jury and executioner. Rana is like this, Rana is like that. Who are you and me to judge? Ahkamul Hakimin, no doubt is Allah Almighty Jalla wa'ala. Batore Zahid, Batore Zahid Baqaida. Hukum of the Sharia is you judge on the apparent. Lekin what is in the heart, that is between that person and Allah. That person and Allah. Acha, that person who, Qawmi Musa, person from the nation of Musa al-Islam, rejected by the people, accepted by Allah. Musa al-Islam received wahi from Allah Almighty, that person who the people threw away, you take his body, you perform his ghusl, you shroud him, you lead his janaza, and you do his tadfeen. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. Musa al-Islam, no doubt, known for their jalal. Again, Malfuzat Sharif, Ala Hazrat, they say what? That Sayyiduna wa Maulana wa Khayruna Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. And their mazar Mubarak was like Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. Very soft, gentle. And Sayyiduna Umar Farooq, Shaykhain Karimain, Tafdeelu Shaykhain, wa Hubb al-Khatanain, wal Mas'u ala al-Khuffain. Ye Sunniyat ki alamat. Waqt calling to the wazahat upon this. Lekin Sayyidina Umar Farooq, Ala Hazrat right word, they and the Mazat Mubarak, their nature was very similar to Musa al-Islam. Ibrahim al-Islam very soft and gentle. Musa al-Islam very hard jalali. Hardcore nahi, hardcore nahi. That's principles, usul. Barhal, I think Hazrat is getting agitated. If you want me to stop, I will stop. No question. Stop. I've not even started yet. I've not even started yet. ये मेरा मौजू नहीं, असल मौजू वाक़तसिमू बिहब्लिल्लाहि जमीअन व ला तफर्रकू है ना. लेकिन चलो देखने how Hazrat mashallah, he's the host, right? So he's in charge, right? He's the driver, he's the pilot. So khair. So Musa alayhi salam asked, Ya Allah, ye kya majra hai? Aapne alfaz. And what's the reasoning here? What's the purpose here? This person was nafarman, he was a gunagar, he was a fasik or fajir. For 70 years he went against your ahkam, rejected the Torah, disrespected and disobeyed your Nabi and Musa alayhi salam. But you ask me now to shroud him, you ask me now to do his janaza, you ask me now to bury him. Majra kya hai? Allahu Akbar. Allah Almighty, in light of His Majesty, revealed to Musa al-Islam that, oh Musa, I know that he's a sinner. Oh Musa, I know that he's a transgressor. Like on one occasion, he did one thing. Because of that one thing, I have forgiven all of his sins. What is that one thing? He saw the name of my beloved in the Torah. He saw the name of my beloved in the Torah. Remember, Nabi Islam's name in the previous Asma'i Kutub. Allahu Akbar. And those names, again the name of the Prophet many. One of the main names in those books revealed from the heavens, Torah, Zabur, Injil, when talking about the Prophet was Ahmad. Yeah? We are true Ahmadis. We are true. We are true Ahmadis. Those who claim to be Ahmadis have nothing to do with our deen. Those individuals are kafir. Those individuals are Gaddar of Deen Islam. Whether they come as Ahmadis or whether they come as Mirzai or whether they come as Qadiani. I said it. Deal with it. Our Nabi, our Rasul, no doubt is Khatamun Nabiyyin. Nabi Islam is Khatamun Nabiyyin. He's the last and final messenger and prophet of Allah. Oh ya Nabiyya ba'dahu. No other messenger and prophet will come after him. No other messenger and prophet will come after him. And anyone who believes in any type of messenger, Zimmi Nabi, Juzi Nabi, or whatever type of Nabi they claim to be, understand and know that that person cannot be a Muslim. That person is a that person is a Tajdar-e Khatm Nabuwwat. Tajdar-e Khatm Nabuwwat. Tajdar-e Khatm Nabuwwat. He saw the name of the Prophet ﷺ in the Torah. The name of the Prophet ﷺ in the Torah is Ahmad. What did this person do? Despite being Fasik or Fajir, he took that name, he kissed it, and he placed it on his eyes. He took that name, kissed it, placed it on his eyes. Allah Almighty said, this one fi'al, this one amal, this one action of this Fasik and Fajir, because of this one act that he did out of love for my beloved, my Habib, understand, I know that I have been forgiven him 70 years of his sins. I have forgiven 70 years of his sins. Galsari. Galsari says. And this is how much love, aqidat, mahabbat, adab you should have for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Anybody, वो मेरे वाले साहब कह रहे हैं फकत मुंह की बात, फकत मुंह बस we just do lip service, we just talk a good talk, and when it comes to actually amali tor, doing something about it and coming into the Maidan and raising our voices, then we are nowhere to be seen. We find copies of the Quran being burnt on the streets of Europe. We find weaker Muslims in China in concentration camps. Those in Indian occupied Kashmir who have been locked down for several decades. Those who have suffered at the hands of the Zionist government of Israel, Palestinian brothers and sisters, for several decades, and we talk about the Ummah, and we talk about Wahda, and we talk about unity and oneness, no doubt. Nabi Islam said this Ummah is Jasad Wahid. When any part of the Ummah is in pain, then the whole body is affected. The whole Ummah is in pain. But where is that pain for you and me today? We can't tolerate one another. We don't have badash towards one another. Brother towards brother, sister towards sister, parents towards children, children towards parents. The ayat that I recited from Surah Ali Imran, is पर गल समेटने I think I have outstayed my welcome. Surah Al Imran, Surah number 3, verse number 103. وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. वो तो पहला हिस्सा है ना. उस वक्त going to do वजाहत upon this. فَاذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ. Remember the bounty and favor of Allah Almighty upon you. And no doubt the greatest favor, the greatest bounty, An-Ni'matul Kubra, An-Ni'matul Uzma is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's what we've said for the first half an hour. And then what does Allah Almighty say about إِذْ كُنْتُمْ أَعْدَاءً فَأَلَّفَ بَيْنَ قُلُوبِكُمْ. This prophet of Allah, he Baqaida was sent as a favor to you from Allah when you were enemies amongst yourselves, you were dushmanan amongst yourselves. But khas talking to the Makkans, the Arabs, but no doubt talking to the Muslim Ummah, that you were at war with one another, you were enemies with one another, and this Prophet came and he united your hearts. He came and united your hearts. But why is it today, now 2023, you and me are busy breaking one another's hearts? Fikri jumle haan. Yesterday at Jummah time, Qibla Sahab, Hazrat Wala, they were talking about the maqasid of Mawlidun Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We mentioned a few points as well. Ilm, akhlaq. Lekin this is also one maqsad of bi'that Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to unite you and me. But unfortunately, you and me are busy dividing one another, and then we call ourselves Muslims. Many of us are just Muslim by name, not by nature. Allahu Akbar. And I said this yesterday towards the end of the bayan. I think my time is done. But tissue paper. I said this yesterday. The fasting also dil par. قیامت کے دن پر یوم ينفع مال ولا بنون الا من اتى الله بقلب سليم. That person whose heart is clean and pure, that individual no doubt will be successful in the day of Qiyamah. And your heart will only be clean and pure when in your heart is only love for Allah and His Rasul. दिल है वो दिल जो तेरी याद से मामूल रहा, सर है वो सर जो तेरे कदमों पे कुर्बान हुआ. We claim to love Him, but we can't tolerate one another, we can't work with one another, divisions and problems and groups within our own community, and then we claim to be ushaq of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then we claim to be lovers of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. सोच करो यार, मिलाद शरीफ मनाओ, गज बज के मनाओ, मरने दम तक मनाओ, लेकिन सिर्फ ये तो नहीं ना, that you decorate your surroundings, but you fail to purify your heart. You fail to remove the rust and the dust of the heart. That in your heart is this ghalazat, be it by way of aqidah, be it by way of a'mal, be it by way of ruhani illnesses. And Hazrat is not giving any clear ishara here. I'm just getting mixed signals. Please tell me if I have 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Or please tell me that if I have no minutes. But Imam Ghazali, they mention in the Tazkiyatul Isr many akhri bahs. Akhri guftagu. Something that you take away with you. Imam Ghazali, Hujjatul Islam. Passed away in the year 505 after Hijrah. They wrote a book called Tazkiyatul Nufus. Jisme Musannif also gathers the aqwal of Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali and other great Sufiya, Awliya, Ulama Rabbani like this. And they made Tawajjuh hai na? They mentioned what? And they said that there are 4 illnesses of the heart. How many? 4. I think those who are willing to listen, they spoke. Because obviously if you say something, then you have to act upon it as well. Well, lekin 4 dilaniya bamariyan. How many? 4. I end upon this. فَأَلَّفَ بَيْنَ قُلُوبِكُمْ. Nabi Islam came to unite you and me. But we are busy breaking each other's hearts, dividing one another. And what is the reason for this? Many asbab. But one reason is what? That we have this illness within our own hearts. فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ مَرَضٌ فَزَادَهُمُ اللَّهُ مَرَضًا. This illness, this disease, sometimes in the way of aqidah and sometimes in the form of our own weaknesses. Aqidah ki bamariyan, un waqt ko to do wazahat upon this. Aur kisi mauke par inshallah. Faridul Islam Masjid inshallah, no doubt. Umeed hai they will call us again and again. On another occasion, we'll tell you what aqidah Ahle Sunnati wal Jamaat hai. Ahle Sunnat ka hai bera par. Abe huzur najam hai. Aur naw hai itrat Rasulullah ki. Lekin us taraf jana hi na chana. 4 dilaniya bamariyan. And once we are going through these 4 illnesses of the heart, ask yourself, do I have these illnesses? Apna muhasaba khud karo. Wo Sayyidina Umar Farooq ka qawl hai na, baaz kutub mein Sayyidina Ali Murtaza Mushkil Kusha Sher Khuda ka qawl hai na, hasibu anfusakum qabla an tuhasabu. Allahu Akbar. And this goes hand in hand with the verse from the Quran. Sayyidina Umar said what? Take account of yourself before you are accounted for on the day of Qiyamah. And a very easy pointing fingers at everyone else. But what you fail to forget, what you fail to remember is the 3 fingers point back at. Forget what next man is doing. Mere Baba Ji Allama Khadim Hussain Rizvi Rahmatullahi Ta'ala always used to say what? And forget what everybody else is doing. Ask yourself, what are you doing? In terms of your children, in terms of your family, in terms of your community. I end upon this. That here, hasibu anfusakum qabla an tuhasabu. Take account of yourself before you are accounted for on the day of Qiyamah. Aapne muhasaba khud karo. Which direction are we heading in? Where are we going? And understand that now our destination should be only one place, and that is Al-Madinatul Munawwarah. Bas yaar. हमारा डेस्टिनेशन, हमारी manzil hai, and where we need to reach is Al-Madinatul Munawwara. For the one who arrives in the court of the Prophet and the one who is accepted in the bargah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that person is accepted by Allah Almighty Jalla. I end how I started. Hazrat ka bada shukriya. Inna Allah ma'as sabirin. चार दिलनी बीमारियां कितनियां चार मैं समझेंगे सियासती है I don't mention them I want to वजाहत upon this वजाहत नहीं ये खुद बयान है they said the first illness of the heart is what too much talking लिखने वाले कौन बस ये हमारी कौम की आदत है वाह 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 सुभान अल्लाह नारे तकबीर नारे हाँ जी what did Mawlvi साहब say bas he was just waving his hands लिखने वाले कौन इमाम ग़ज़ाली कोई मामूली शख्सियत नहीं आपने दो के मुजद्दिद हुज्जतुल इस्लाम और the ulama contribute towards this particular book they say the first illness of the heart is too much bila wajah bila maqsad guftagoo karna Allah and are we not all guilty of this ghibat chugli lying slandering gossiping these illnesses and diseases we find within ourselves Allahu Akbar this is why Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said what man samata najah but whosoever remains silent has attained salvation. Zaban par control rakho yaar, zaban par control rakho. It is better not to say anything than to say something against the Sharia. We speak ill of those ulama who we read our salah behind, and then we say, oh ji, ye bimari hai, ye pareshani hai, ye problem hai. Ask yourself, how are you using your tongue? Dusri dilani bimari. The second illness of the heart is an-nazru bi shahwatin. It is that to look at a ghair mahram out of lust. And in a day and age where our youngsters are exposed to pornography, and not just what they've been taught in the schools and colleges and university, but now our children, I don't know about the situation here in Holland, but our children in the UK, nikke 10 days, 10 days, you know? 2-year-old, 3-year-old, latest Samsung, latest iPhone, huh? Father still got a Nokia 6210. Then we say, oh, my son doesn't listen to me. My daughter is far from me. Of course, as soon as they were born, you created that distance. You created that barrier. You didn't spend time with them. You didn't teach them about the deen. You didn't tell them about the seerat of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the shama'il of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the surat of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You just gave them baby shark. You just exposed them to Cocomelon. You put on Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network. नहीं ये हंसने की बात नहीं ये रोने की बात है यार नस्ल बर्बाद हो रही and we're busy laughing and joking amongst ourselves this is before they get to the schools and colleges and universities before they become lesbians and homosexuals and we are just talking about these issues jago yaar jago before it's too late तीसरी दिलानी बीमारी they said too much food too much Maulana, you might as well cancel tonight's food because everybody's going to keep roza tomorrow, inshallah. I don't think so. Too much food, yeah. Hazrat Ibrahim bin Adham radiyallahu anhu from the Salafus Salihan, they had a very beautiful saying. They say, you are what you eat, what goes into your stomach. The one who is in control of what goes into their stomach, that person is in control of their deen. और आखिरी जुमला, आखिरी बीमारी, कितनी बीमारियां सन? पहली बीमारी क्या सी? Too much talking. दूसरी दिलानी बीमारी looking at गैर महरम. Hazrat Sultan Salahuddin al-Ayyubi का बहुत मशहूर कौल है ना, that if you wish to destroy a nation without उलमा अहले सुन्नत ताजदार खत्म नबूवत Shahzad Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyyina wa Shafiyyina wa Mawlana Muhammadin sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The main Faizan of today's Mukhtasar Hazri is what? Focus and concentrate on the state of your heart. Iqbal says what? Tere dil to hai sanam ashina, tujhe kya milega namaz mein. When you have these diseases and illnesses in your heart, What are you going to gain from rukus and sujood? There's 4 illnesses of the heart, Imam Ghazali writes in his Tazkiyat al-Nufus. As we mentioned, and ikhtisar ke saath, as we are concluding, number 1 is not too much and talking, unnecessary talking. Number 2, looking at the opposite gender out of lust and desire. Number 3, too much food. And my youngsters in particular, listen very carefully. The 4th illness of the heart is what? Bad company. Buri sohbat. You are the company that you keep. And the company that you keep will either make you or break you. I end upon the words of the best of creation, Rasul Akram sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Abu Dawud Sharif ki riwayat, Rafi Sayyidina Abu Huraira radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, Nabi Sallallahu Islam said, Ar-rajulu ala dini khalilihi, falyanzur ahadukum man yukhalil. That a person, a man, is upon the religion of his friend. So be careful in the friends that you keep. Be careful in the friends that you keep. But today we find our youngsters having friendship with those individuals whose aqidah is batil. Our youngsters today having friendship with those people who are on social media and they don't know who's behind that screen. Our youngsters today who are having friendships with the opposite gender. And as I've already alluded to, in the day and age that we live in, not just the opposite gender, but same gender as well. This is why parents wake up before it's too late. Wake up before it's too late. अपनी औलाद पर तवज्जो करो, वरना as we find many parents today crying because of the state of their children who are leaving Islam altogether. ये हमारी oldham की बात है. Hazrat वाला किबला man ahliya, and to say too much in front of the company of the ulama is not good. The Sufia say what? That when you are in the company of the ulama, control your tongue, and when you are in the company of the awliya, control your heart. Why it comes to philosophy to move in but ये oldham की बात है. ये copies Medina Masjid, 10 Muslim girls left Islam. Not only did they leave Islam, but they changed their gender as well. ये सुनी सुनाई बात नहीं. This was in a letter that the madrasa wrote to the parents of the students who study there. And when I went back in March, उस मस्जिद के सदर मदीना मस्जिद Haji Shakil Sahab, I was there for a 4-hour lecture on Aqidah as part of our nationwide, UK nationwide lecture tour of the principles of Aqidah, Usul al-I'tiqad. And I said to Haji Shakil Sahab, Haji Sahab, this is what we have heard, is this true? And he put his head down and started to cry and said, Imam said, this is true. Nasla barbad ho Indian. Milad Sharif manao, gaj ke manao. But deal with the issues and problems within your homes. Deal with the issues and problems within your community. And deal with the issues and problems within your society. Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala samjhne ki aur amal karne ki tawfiq ata farma. Allah Almighty make us true recipients of the love of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Tayar ishq mein apna maqam paida kar. Naya zamana ne subh ho sham paida kar. Wa ma alayna illa al-balagh al-mubin. Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala preserve our Huzur ulama haqqa, ulama ahli sunnati wal jama'ah, in particular Huzur Mufakkir Islam, Khalifa Mufti Azam Hind, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, Hazrat Allama Qabr Uzman Azmi Sahib Qibla. Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala keep this sayah qaim and time upon the ahli sunnati wal jama'ah. Allah Almighty allows to benefit from their fuyuz of barakat, and Allah Almighty allows to support them in every mission, every endeavor. For no doubt these elder ulama, it is through them we have these blessings and barakah. I said this, I don't know if Hazrat remembers in Kamposhi Masjid and the Ursa Huzur around the city, rahmatullah alayhi. I said it then, I say it now in Hazrat Mawjud. Hazrat and all the elder ulama lead the way, and inshallah we will follow them. We will stand shoulder to shoulder with them. Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala keep us firm upon maslake Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, or maslake Raza, wa ma alayna illa al-balagh al-mubin. Aapne कहना जिंदाबाद जिंदाबाद. ताजदार खत्म नबूवत, ताजदार खत्म नबूवत,